Greetings, Linux enjoyers, and today I'm going to be putting a new hard drive into my first ever computer that I got. Yeah, this is the first computer that I got that wasn't a hand-me-down. And this is the hard drive that I'm going to be putting inside of it, which I used as a storage drive for a long time. And don't worry, I got all the data on this thing. All the data that was stored inside that hard drive is now on this little thing, and it does come with a USB-C cable, but I don't have it on me right now. Anyways, let's get out our drive holder and start getting to work. Yeah, make sure you recover all of your data before you start putting the hard drive into this computer. Well, into any computer. Yeah. In case you're wondering, the original hard drive, well, it was dead. It was on its way out, and yeah, I fell for a scam back in the day. Yeah, the infamous free Blue Point scam on Facebook with Cartown. Be glad that that game is shut down. It's no longer around. Although, it's still sad that it's no longer accessible. Man, I feel old. Yeah. Yeah, I admittedly did try to back then I was basically doing some, well, dumb stuff, like trying to troll certain users, including THR, but I'm over that now. Yeah, I'm past that as, well, I don't usually like to troll users anymore. I was basically a teenager back then. I was trying to have fun. Now I'm fully grown and know better. Yeah, I'm past my scuffle with THR now. Yeah, and I do think he actually makes good videos. And he does appreciate the world of cars a lot. So that's that. Yeah. If you go to disassemble this thing, you gotta make sure the covers are off. It's pretty easy to get into the hard drive. Yeah, so I will be installing Linux Mint on this computer. Yeah, you also have to remove the battery. Yeah, this is the spot where I usually do my Lego sets. Here I'm doing computer repairs. Oh, shoot. Why does the screwdriver keep slipping around? Already got that one off. Now I've got to pry off this cover. Yeah, the hard drive is seated in there. Yeah, this is a PNY solid state hard drive. Yeah, I was going to get a new hard drive for this computer, but I didn't bother. As well, it'll pretty much fit any SSD in there anyways. Yeah, I swear the screws in there are pretty small. yeah, one woman that I was around said it couldn't be fixed, but I am putting a new hard drive in there, so it can be fixed. Yeah. One screw is missing, but that's okay. Yeah, it's amazing that the modern SSD can fit in there with no problem at all. So, gotta put it back together. Oh, crap. I swear, I was doing dishes before I fixed up this computer. Yeah, get in there, man. Just get in there. These screws are pretty small. This is the first time I ever worked on a computer on my own. Yeah. Hard drive is taken out of it. Now we gotta put the covers back on. First we gotta start off with this thing. Yeah. Yeah, like, there's some people that say I didn't know anything about cars. Well, I was actually joking around. I do know a lot about cars. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I was just a teenager who didn't know any better. Yeah. Yeah, past that now. Alright. Gotta get the battery back in there. Come on. There. Now we gotta put this on there, this back on there, and fire up the laptop. Oh, got it on the wrong way. Also got the screw in the wrong place. How did I mess up that? It is my first time fixing up the computer, so expect there to be mistakes. Yeah, it's very hard to put in that screw in that particular place and just gotta drop it in there. Yeah, it has a brand new hard drive. Yeah, this hard drive is a lot newer and the old one's just dying. Yeah, good old computer. All fixed up and ready to go. It's got a new hard drive in it. Ready to have Linux Mint installed in there. Alrighty. Let's give it a whirl after I put in the new hard drive itself. Alrighty, so I ran into a couple of hurdles. Yeah. I have a similar thing with Action Retro where there's always going to be some hiccups. Firstly, the flash drive won't work properly. And then the DVD that I tried to install it on crashed when I tried to set the password. So, I'm going to write another image file of, well, burn another ISO of Linux Mint onto a much fresher disk. Come on. Literally froze, man. Yeah, it ran well when I put in files previously. There it is. Alrighty, so all we gotta do is burn the ISO onto disk, and we're all set. Put in the disk. Let the disk spin. Yeah, I like to format the disk for Linux Mint. Yeah, this is a much newer disk. So while that disk tries to burn, I'm gonna try to go for a swim. Alrighty. Just got the disk burned, and it's a better disk this time around. Yeah, it's XFCE, that's Linux Mint, by the way. And I got the hard drive ready to go, and don't worry, I put the files on this thing. An SSD hard drive that is meant for storing stuff. Let's go. Let's bring this computer back to life. Oops. Gotta remember to plug it in. Yeah, it doesn't have that sound, because, well, the hard drive, well, like I said, the hard drive was on its way out, and yeah, I didn't know any better back then. I clicked on a malicious link that said free blue points, because I used to play Cardtown back in the day, and then ended up breaking the system and corrupting the hard drive. I'm glad it's fixed now. I'm glad I learned my lesson. Yeah, never trust any malicious links and scams anyone. That's a lesson to learn. Yeah, I'm pretty much gotten smarter now. Yeah, it's pretty quiet. The hard drive's pretty quiet. You can't hear it at all. Because it's it's an SSD hard drive instead of the clanking hard drives. There we go. This is real exciting. Yeah, it makes a beep sound. Don't know why it does that. Alright. Let's try system recovery. Alright. Alright, let's test the hard disk. Yeah, I've been tinkering around with this computer. Alrighty, so I did a couple of tests and the RAM seems fine. Alrighty. Seems to be looking good so far. Hasn't had that yet. So I guess I won't be needing this. Yeah, that annoying beep that goes on for way too long. I had to do a RAM test to make sure the RAM was working properly. And I ran it through a couple of times. And it seemed I was right. The RAM was actually working. It was actually pretty good. Well, I expected the RAM to be good. After all, the hard drive is the problem, not the RAM. Here we go into Linux Mint. It's literally being booted off of the flash drive itself. Yeah, like I said, pretty quiet. Yeah, I had to do some tinkering and some RAM testing. Yeah, when I RAM tested the laptop itself, it worked pretty good. Now it's time for it to have Linux. The reason why I'm installing Linux instead of Windows is because of, well, the product keys you need for Windows. Linux is a lot easier to install. Alright, English. Oh my god. Got to plug in the keyboard. Stop spamming a single letter, man. Back. Yeah, we're gonna have to go through this process again since for some reason the keyboard decided to act up. Alrighty, so here we are. Hopefully it won't mess up the installation process like it did last time. Yeah, the keyboard was a problem. And also interesting to note that this computer was also an end of an era for Compaq. Yeah, this computer was made 5 years before Compaq went under entirely. Yeah. Compaq was bought up by HP, just like how E-Machines was bought up by Gateway and then Acer and then went under. Alrighty, so I'm gonna put in the password, and this is the one part that you don't want to see, so let's jump ahead. Alrighty, so here we are. Hopefully it won't mess up the installation process like it did last time. Yeah, the keyboard was a problem. And also interesting to note that this computer was also an end of an era for Compaq. Yeah, this computer was made 5 years before Compaq went under entirely. Yeah. Compaq was bought up by HP, just like how E-Machines was bought up by Gateway and then Acer and then went under. Alrighty, so I'm gonna put in the password, and this is the one part that you don't want to see, so let's jump ahead. Alrighty, so I decided to skip the internet for now on this computer, because I'm planning on installing it later. As I do have other things to install, like multimedia codecs, because I do want to watch videos on this computer. I want to be able to watch videos on this computer, and I also want to be able to play games on it. Alrighty, here we go. Yeah, I understand the warning. Alright. Here we go. It's ready to install. I've been through a lot of hurdles and some installation crashes, but it'll be worth it in the end. Because I got to revive this computer that has been out of service for several years. So here we go. Alrighty, it is finished. Let's restart the laptop and see how Linux Mint runs on it. Yeah, I finally got this old laptop fixed. My first ever laptop that I got that wasn't a hand-me-down is finally back to life. And now I can reminisce on my days when I was a naive teenager. Yeah, please remove the installation medium. Don't worry. I did just that. Whoops. I dropped it. It says unable to What's going on? Yeah, there was an error that was on the laptop itself. Is it gonna do it again? Well, it doesn't look like it. So basically all I had to do was do the old trick. Turn it off and on again. There it is. Linux Mint is up and running. It's really amazing to get an OS on a computer like this up and running. And keep in mind, this computer is also faster than the computer that I got to replace it. Yeah, I won't be needing this anymore, since I can use the trackpad now. Alrighty, so I fixed the error by just turning the computer on and off again. Seemed to fix the issue. And yeah, my computer is finally fixed and up and running after years of being out of service. And keep in mind, this computer is actually faster than the computer that I got to replace it. As well, I got a low-end HP notebook that had a 1.4 gigahertz processor compared to the 2.2 gigahertz Intel Celeron that's on this machine. And it actually is pretty smooth. Yeah, I actually like using this OS, and I'm glad I got it installed on my first ever computer that I got. That wasn't a hand-me-down. Alrighty, let's go on the internet. I just installed Steam, and of course, well, this is a lot different from trying to install Steam on Windows and Mac, as you first have to install a certain package and type in command sudo apt install whatever. Yeah, whatever the product is called, or whatever the package is called, because this is Linux and things usually go differently in Linux world. And then I had to do some other work in the terminal, and once I did that, Steam is ready to go. Now, I was going to test Team Fortress 2 on this computer, but there is a problem though. Team Fortress 2 is a game that was made for much faster systems, and this computer only has a 2.2 gigahertz processor. Yeah, it's pretty fast, but it's single core, and Team Fortress 2 was made with beefier and more powerful systems in mind. Because, well, you needed a gaming PC even back then. So that leads me to with Gary's mod. That leaves me with Gary's mod, as it does have lower system requirements. It only requires a 2 gigahertz processor. And this processor is just 0.2 ahead of the system requirements. Although it has to load in the Vulkan shaders. Because even in a game like Gary's mod needs to load in Vulkan shaders. Alrighty, it's now up and running. Start a new game. GM construct. Yeah, I would have actually liked to play this game back in the day when I got this computer, and before the computer got infected with some hard drive killing virus. And before it got its hard drive replaced many years ago. Many years later. And guess what? I actually still enjoy it to this day. Yeah, I still love it. Because it's a pretty cool game, you get to do a lot. Let's spawn in a vehicle. There's a combine helicopter. And this is pretty cool. You get to do a lot of stuff with the context menu. So let's show the frames per second. Yeah. It's actually running marginally well. And I bet you will run a lot better than on my HP laptop that I got to replace it. Yeah. By holding down E. Ooh, now that's cool. Yeah, it has lower frame rates with some effects there. Let's get to the context menu again. You could actually change the player model, which is cool. So let's change to one of these guys. Yeah, and there's a lot of fun to be had with this game. Let's spawn another object. Hold down the Q key. And spawn in a crow. Which should appear. Can even change the color of your rope. creator. Now this is the tool gun. Haha, yes. Yeah, and you can also use a lot of weapons. Ooh, look at there. Okay. Let's spawn in another object. Spawn in. A yellow car. Spawn using tool gun. Man, this is a lot of fun. Probably gonna be all night playing this game, so let's end here. Now, let's test out the internet itself. And I was actually wrong about this computer being made in 2009. It was actually made in 2010. So yeah, I got the date wrong. Yeah, it was just 3 years before Compaq would go under entirely. Yeah, at the time this computer was released, and it was pretty much an end of an era for Compaq. Yeah, they went under as their own independent company, and then they went under while they were being owned by HP. Yeah, it actually works. Let's watch some YouTube. Even back then, the computer was very low end, and it was only meh in terms of processor speed. I'm gonna watch one of my own videos because I know I won't get sued because it's me that makes the videos. Let's see, what can we watch? There's a lot we could watch. Let's watch this one, the amped aero build that I made. Yeah, it isn't going to blaze past any of the modern laptops, but back then, if you just wanted a cheap computer for school or college, then this was the computer to get. And this computer, of course, is not going to be used that much. It's only ever going to be used as an on-the-go laptop. Yeah, meaning it's only ever going to be used on the go, and it's going to be used as a document writer. Yeah, a portable document writer, and I also have plans to play some games on it. Yeah, most likely an emulator, since this computer doesn't do much in terms of gaming. So yeah, it's finally back. It's great to bring this laptop back to life. And now it'll be with my laptop collection forever. It's very rarely that someone holds on to a laptop this long. Someone said it couldn't be fixed, but I fixed it, and all it needed was a new hard drive. So yeah, pretty good laptop, and you wanna know what's also pretty good? Some bonus content that I got. Yeah, I tried out the 2 flavors of the Wendy's chicken strips, so let's jump over to those 2 clips that I filmed long ago. Greetings, everyone, and I decided to get the buffalo saucy chicken strips from Wendy's. So yeah, here they are with the fries and drink. Now, if you don't like seeing my face close up, I suggest you skip. Let's see how the chicken strips taste. Actually pretty good. Remind me of the Dairy Queen chicken strips. Yeah, very good. Pretty spicy. That's to be expected. I give him a 9 out of 10. So yeah, pretty good. Well worth the wait. Catch you guys next time. Peace out. Bonus content time, yeah, the original video file got corrupted. And it actually, well, took me 2 years to upload it. Well, I got the video finished right away, but I left the video as it is for 2 years until I decided to upload it. But anyways, here's a review of, well, the Wendy's saucy chicken strips. Or specifically, the honey barbecue variety. Yeah, and I also got ranch dipping sauce with them. And I got fries and a Sprite Zero Limeade. Yeah, they spelt it with a Y, by the way, if you haven't known already. So yeah. Let's see what the saucy strips are like. I'll have a dip. And pretty good. Wendy's always makes the best chicken strips, aside from KFC. Yeah, and the Sprite Zero Sugar Limeade's also pretty good. Yeah, I found out that the so-called healthier sodas are actually a scam. They're not much healthier than diet soda. I always get diet soda, just in case if I want to achieve my blood sugar goals or something like that. Diet soda, in my opinion, is best suited for diabetics. Yeah, well, zero sugar soda as well. So yeah, Saucy Strips, again, 9 out of 10. Amazing. Another excellent effort from Wendy's himself. Especially when it comes to the Saucy Strips. Yeah, in America they have the Saucy Nugs, but in Canada they have the strips. So yeah, whatever you pick, I'd highly recommend you to get some. But anyways, it's time for me to sign off. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, then you know what to do. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell just in case I haven't done so. Catch you guys next time, and peace out.